You're tuned in to the Cre8 Podcast, where we explore the stories, advice, and insights from well-known and influential creatives in the industry. I'm your host, Cindy Morioki, and this is where creatives connect. Hi, Kimanzi.
How are you, Cindy?
I'm good. I'm happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Please let our audience know who you are and what type of creative you are.
Well, my name is Brian Kimanzi. Kimanzi _ on Instagram and X. What type of creative? Hey, I've been branded as a lifestyle creative, fashion creative. Hey, I guess it's more like everything creative.
All in one.
Yeah, because I do very many different things depending on what I'm working towards.
Yeah. Okay. The reason you're actually one of the guests here, I can't take credit for being the one who said, let's have Kimanzi. We had 2 guests this season who really sang your praises.
Oh,
the first, yeah. The first was Charisma. Okay, I can't say he sang your praises.
Oh, now that's charisma.
You know what I'm saying?
Now that is charisma. The second one.
He was like, he did like acknowledge that you're a very great creative. It just didn't come out like a compliment. But I know he meant it as a compliment.
That's a man's sentiment, I
yeah,
guess.
Yeah. I think, he didn't want to seem too eager to say that you're good at what you're doing.
Wapi na venye mimi na mama ngeni mkali.
Serious?
Ni sawa, sitaki kuongea vitu hapa zitaenda.
But yeah, so that he was one of them. And then the second one was Ajib.
Oh, wow.
She said that when she looks at your content, she really is like, she would like to know how where you draw your creativity from, your inspiration from. And I was like, me too, actually. So that's why you're here.
So if they never mentioned, I would not be here.
Okay, no, you would. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, guys.
Harsh reality of things, guys.
No, you would have been. You would have been. I think their recommendations or their praises pushed you higher up. You get what I'm saying?
I was lower down in the food chain.
There's no good way to say this. You're making me look bad on my own podcast. We're going to start the interview now. This conversation never happened.
Okay.
Anyway, can you tell us about how you entered this creative scene?
Entered?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Your journey.
Well, let's say entered per se. Okay, even as of 10 years ago, I was still... How I started, I used to do comic skits 10 years ago.
Yes.
When Instagram gave us 15 seconds. Well, first it was 7 seconds for videos, and then it was upgraded to 15.
Wow. Hey, you had an OG for real.
Damn. But yeah, and then there was Vines that time.
Yes.
So Vines that time was... Okay, before that, before the social space came to... The digital space came into the picture, you still had drama,
Yeah.
Just wanted to do these things. When I was in campus, I went to an acting school.
Oh.
Ya kujilipia, na tafuta tu ndio nipate.
Wow, okay.
Then I dropped out because I didn't have enough fees. So I did a very short stint there. Yeah, because it's something I'd always wanted. It was the only avenue I would express from high school, you're in drama, you do all these things, then after you're like, okay, so where do I take all this talent or quote unquote things I want to do? Then that time we went to, then hata sijui nilipataje, by the way, because remember we don't have like Instagram or X where you ask around, and I just remember. But I used to go to auditions, by the way.
Really?
Napanga line lakini na line ni refu nasema.
So Kimanzi could have been a Kimanzi the actor.
Maybe,
I mean, you
never know. I actually even went and did I've been an extra in 2 TV shows kitambo.
Yeah.
One was Mali.
Mali
ni ya kitambo.
Your age will show you.
Yeah. Maybe I was there as a child. I was an extra as a kid. Relax.
I'm so sorry.
The age bracket. Hey, please.
I'm sorry for assuming.
And then the other time, I don't remember the name of the show. I've done like 3. They was on Extra.
Okay.
I never even got to watch them. Now you see, at that time you don't know, like when you shoot an episode today,
Yeah.
it doesn't come out the next week.
Yeah.
You are just part of the bulk shooting that happens. Now these are things, of course, way later in life. Yeah, but when we did them, I was like, the next week I'm watching, the other week I'm back and kachoka. Then randomly someday when I'm in school, my mom calls me, and nimekuona kwa TV. She didn't even know. So I'm like, oh. And then now you see, it's not like we had, what is it called? Your Netflix or DSTV where you could rewind.
You could rewind, yeah.
He man.
Oh my goodness.
So even the second one, yeah. So, but now that time we used to go for now that was like off auditions.
Yeah.
And then now through that I was able to get those roles as an extra. Unalipwa tao yako safi, unafurahia na umekuwa hapo from 6 am to 6 pm na ulichukuliwa tao 5:30 asubuhi.
Oh my goodness.
The life,
Hey.
Yeah, so that background was always there. Then now we had an avenue to do these things on our own. Now come Instagram, where now you'd be like, oh, let me just do one or two things. Yani ni kitu tu unafanya ikutoke. You're passionate, you want to do it, kitu inakutoa. There's an inward feeling to want to just do these things, and no matter how many times you try and not do it, kila saa inakukumbusha, oya, hatutoki kwa brain yako. You decide when you will do, but the day you will do,
we're gonna be with you.
Yeah. So that motivation from within. But now I was in campus, and I was studying and whatnot. So towards now when I finished, because I was doing a serious course, or rather a course that you have to immerse yourself, but not to stay at a campo to I'm immersing myself mostly because of the course. Pia sherehe ya campus ilikuwa mingi.
Na ilibamba.
So unajipata by the time you seclude yourself to do your things, time imesonga, you've done like 3 weeks of a mixture of school and sherehe, out of town trips, just crazy lifestyle. So now towards now when you're graduating, I'm like, now I can start doing these things. And even then, I didn't have like a nice phone with a camera. So I used to borrow my friend. And my idea was, akiwa chuo to shoot. So I would go to him ready with everything. I have the idea, I have the script format I want to do. And it's short things, so it's a one take.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Of course, not all. So my idea was to just shoot, post, upload before he goes home.
Yeah.
So that was the goal. Yeah, at least thankfully I managed for that period of time. Yeah, and that's how I started doing them over time. Then moved to, what is it called? I did them for like two years consistently. Then I took a long break because now I still went to do the diploma for the course, and now also moved out of the country.
Okay.
So that put a pause on it. And then now when you're back to, proper work. You're 8 to 5, and then you're thinking, But again, remember this feeling that was still there long ago. Yes, I was able to do 1 or 2 things, but after that, it's still there. That gut feeling, let me just do these things again. Not necessarily for anyone, but for me, I will be motivated. And then by the time I'm coming back, by the people we started with had now progressed proper. So you're like, hey, hii ni mlima hii.
Yeah.
But then it was so natural for me to just do them. I would be in front of a camera and things would just flow. And yeah, that's how the creative journey began. Took breaks, and of course I'm one who likes to, what can I do different, what can I do better. When I started, of course, it was with a phone, a bad phone for that matter. The quality was not there, the essence was not the quality, the essence was the content. And it worked for that time. And then moved on to now try and get a small camera here, do a few things, edit on your own, and just keep progressing over time, I guess. And here we still are.
Okay, that's an amazing journey.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were in campus, you did diploma, and then that you also left the country.
Yes.
So what is it that you studied, and what led you to leaving the country? Was it also your studies?
Yes, and no.
Okay.
I studied law.
That's crazy.
I don't know why people always get like
No, you just don't look like someone who studied law. I can't explain.
place
I don't know what it is.
perceptions. Law, it has cool people. I know I'm cool, but yeah,
It does
has
have
other
cool people. Even Kajisma, when he told me he studied law, I was like, oh my goodness. Okay.
We also have many people who steered off,
Yeah.
like him and many others.
Yeah.
Na tumejaa kila mahali.
It's true. I know
In
that.
music, in movies,
Yes.
in the creative space, digital, yeah. There are so many of us. But yeah, did that then. The deep was in Kenya School of Law.
Okay.
Still did that and then finished. Also started working in a law firm.
Okay.
And nilikuwa naenda law na mafaili hivi kwa koti.
Oh my goodness.
To hold briefs for people and go with the lawyer going to the courts.
Yeah,
Milimani nilikuwa nashinda.
Oh my goodness.
Did part of my school, what was it called? That was not privilege then. Let me just say internship.
Yeah.
At Milimani Law Court, so that was my office for like a few months. Yeah, so huko nimetembea hizo corridor. Just not as a full-fledged lawyer, just within the school course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what was the traveling for?
No, my family had moved, so we moved. Yeah.
Okay. Then you moved back eventually.
Well, after I'd gone for a full year, when I was there, I still wanted to come. Now you see, I just cut off what I was doing.
Yes.
And then now when you're abroad, you see people progressing.
Yeah.
And then you want to do it, but you're not in the same space or the same area. So I still wanted to come back and try it out. But now I needed a gate, because now I'd started working even in for UN.
Okay.
But I started as an intern then. Now you see those two worlds
They don't mix.
everything I did career-wise and even profession-wise, there's no place they
foster
meet.
creativity, yeah.
Now they do now over time, thankfully.
But not then.
Yeah, then it would be, but now even in UN now is when I did a lot of, I was there as a legal, in the legal department, of course, because what I'd studied. And then after that, well, at the legal department, kitu nilikuja kujua me, I hate sitting on the desk.
Okay.
It's not me. Spendi kukaa tu ati nimeingia 8. Nimekaa on my laptop or doing reports or doing all these things. I'm like,
Alafu unatoka 5. Alafu una repeat the next day.
yeah, I hate that type of routine where it takes a bigger chunk of your week. So you're only left with
2 free
the
days.
weekend to do whatever you want, hopefully. Yeah, so I started doing out of the box things while even there. Now they had a lot of equipment, cameras, both for photography and videography, mics and whatnot, that were not being used. Remember, I've used these things, or rather, this is a thing I've been interested in. So for me, that was like, there's so much equipment here. Why let it
just sit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to like the big bosses, asked them, is how? Because now people used to go to the field reports.
Yeah.
And when they come back, they have written reports.
Yeah.
Which they just type on Microsoft Word and send to like the big bosses. So it's then I was like, I have a different way we can do the reports. I'd want when people go to the field, I go with them, do photography, so that we get pictures of these things. So like when we go to like communities, for whatever initiative that was happening, we were able to take photos, and if we can interview people, because the interviews were happening, but people were just writing, Mr. So said this,
Yeah.
So I was like, it would be best if we can record the interviews as well, to just create videos that are testimonial. They approved. And that's now how I moved from the desk. Also, I wanted fieldwork because that's the only way it was paying. They were paying good money for per diem.
Per diems, yes.
And I'm like, if I can get away to there, wacha nijaribu janja yote. Hallelujah, I got it, and that's now started doing fieldwork. So I'd go take photos of the interviewing. Then, of course, now we needed a way to put the photos, and then we can do them on Microsoft Word. Okay, you can, but it was like, what's the point of doing all this? So I had contacts still back in Kenya. So I emailed, called, and they used to make magazines. So I was like, I'm sending you data. I'm sending you
Like the
photos,
pictures, yeah.
and I'm sending you the content for it. And this is the cover page I want and whatnot. This time I'm not like even I've not told the office what I want to do. Since they already granted me like the equipment.
Yeah.
So I was just doing the others chini ya maji and surprise them. Yeah, so I emailed them. They emailed back now the full magazine, went to find a printer, printed out a magazine, and then on Monday placed it on the CEO's desks.
Wow.
I was like, wow, okay, this is very... Maki, I'm an intern, so this looks bad on the entire
department.
Everyone who's involved, they're like...
It's like, why didn't we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's how now I shifted now. Now you see, even when in those spaces, I found a way to do some of the things.
Yeah, to express your creativity.
Yeah, it was not directly for me, but I was able to have an input in a way that I felt this is now my input, not input from other people. Yeah, and that's how now that happened for a while. But again, East West Home is still calling. I'm like, I also need a way out of... Now, this side by there is now thriving. Things are good.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't feel satisfied in this space. I want to do these things back home. So I was like, okay, maybe if I say I want to go to School of Law, since it was there,
yeah,
it was the only gateway I would see at that time.
To get you back to Kenya.
Yeah, and that took it, started. And of course, when I came back, that only is a serious year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So you can't even have time to do these things. And of course, after that, you go to privilege, do this. So you see, you're 2 years in, but at least you're back home and tried 3 things, but it's not fully fledged. So you're just hoping, it'll come through. Yeah, then over time, you just take risk and say, you know what, let me just do it.
You have explained a journey of patience, basically.
I'm a very patient person.
I can tell, clearly. And now, when you came back, did you, after you did your pupillage, at what point did you just say, I want to now steer into the direction of being a creative?
So then, at that time, what happened? At that time, now when I'm doing pupillage, at least X was very active. So we'd do some work, like campaigns on X. And then now that showed you, like, there's some income you can also get from. Juu hata si ati hiyo huko mapipili unalipwa poa. So ni pesa makaratasi.
Yeah.
So wetu unaanza kujitafutia income
Extra,
that can make you go get by.
Yeah.
So you just combine that, this, at least you're able to live. And now when that was happening, I was like... And then I remember one day I went to talk to one of the colleagues in the office. He'd been there for like quite some time. He was now, when you're towards like Uko Juju. But that's back then. I don't know how people pay now. I've not been in that field for a while.
Yeah.
And then he was like excited about the new promotion he got. Then as we talk, he says like the amount he's going to earn. I'm like, umeko hapa 5 years. That's what you're going to earn. Now that's in my head though.
Yeah.
That's what, so I'm like, for me to get to where you are, I'm doing the calculation.
Yeah.
5 years.
The money was not making sense.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not getting that completely, but even from my things, it's almost there.
Okay.
And I'm just in my first time. I'm like, I don't think I have the patience to sit and wait for this.
Yeah, it's not adding up.
Yeah, but even when I was in a privilege, I used to enjoy going to the court so much. Because again, remember, I don't like the desk. So even then I was like, being out in the field just makes me feel like I've achieved something or done something. So that happened. And then while now that you say I'm looking at this guy has been here 5 years and this is what he's happy about, I'm like, I don't think this is the direction I want to take. This will be me in 5 years. No, that's not the vision I have for me.
Yeah.
And then of course, I still want to do this. So I'm still, over the weekends or times, I'm trying to create videos just because I want to. Not that I have any motive, but I was doing them because I just felt the need to, because if I have these many ideas that are just racking up in my head, so I just need to start expressing them one after the other, if not all. Yeah, and then of course, well, because I'm also doing work on X, then Twitter, we'd get campaigns.
Yeah.
When I'd get campaigns, we'd go to the agencies. I'm in a law career where people wear suits day in, day out. But when I go to the agencies, people are in casuals, like, I'm like, this is cool, by the way.
Yeah.
And I would vision, what if I just try out this space?
Yeah.
Since I was already doing videos before, I was like, I could just take a leap of faith and try it. Yeah, and then there's this thing about when God plans things for you, or rather when you plan things and God aligns with you, it's easy to, you don't see it, but he's showing you the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So at that point, now I was planning on walking away from this job. Like, you know what? Because me, I'm a risk. I'll walk out. I don't care. I care for the future, but I'm like, as long as niko na mshahara ya miezi mbili, tani rent ya miezi mbili,
you can push through.
Hizo miezi mbili sitakosa kitu ingine ya kunipea another 2 months. Just that small push. And like, pia nimeishi kuwa mjanja all my life, siwezi anza kulemewa sai. I'll find a way to do things. So at that time I got a call from a friend who was like, hey, hi, a certain creative director has been looking for you. I'm like, and they work at this agency and they would like you to work for them. I'm like, oh, okay. We get in contact. I go to the office. He tells me, I used to see your videos
before
back then, and then you disappeared. I'm like, that didn't go down well, and I had to move. Told him the story, told him what I'm currently doing. And I was like, oh, so what is it, something you'd try? I'm like, excuse you? Anytime. I'm like,
you're down,
but there's no pay. You'll have to, there's a small, I'm like, if at least I can do it, since I was already planning to quit that side and survive with that income and still do my campaigns and they'll make me survive, then let me just,
like, why not
do it? Since I'll be quitting and staying at home,
at least now you have something to do.
Yeah, so shifted. Of course, they told me there were 2 options. Either they give me a 360 campaign to do, or I do an internship.
Okay.
And I was like, even if you give me a 360, I have no idea of the lingo what you expect from me. I need to learn. I'm good with learning. So I said, let me learn. Let me just take the internship. Even if I don't get the job, I'll have learned 2-3 things that I can put into my craft. And so that's what I did, and I was good at my job and was absorbed.
Nice.
And now that happened for the next 7 years.
And you were a copywriter, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
5
years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so now went up the ladder from a junior, senior.
And are you still working in agency, or
no?
Are you a full-time creative?
Now I'm doing full-time creative.
Okay.
Yes.
But I know you still do stuff apart from content creation.
Yes.
Charisma told me you are the creative director behind his Charisma live show, the recent one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he told me that you handled all of it, and he gave you a big shout out there. So you guys, if you're looking for a creative director,
he can't compliment me directly.
No, but he complimented you to the masses. Imagine, to the I feel like that's even better. He's plugged.
He's an R&B artist. He should be saying nice things.
Maybe his next album, you'll have a song. You don't know what he's working on.
So I also, with the knowledge I've acquired over the years, because it's very borrowed in many aspects. All this, I always see everything you do, anything you achieve is like a cocktail, slowly building up to what you can finally do. So over the years, many things I've been able to learn. If I can share, I'm always happy to share. So even with creative, like even in the music, I like music a lot, and I like Kenyan music a lot. So if there's a space I can have some input, I'm good to do it. Yeah, so I've done creative direction for those, for that and many other things, even with other creatives and other fields for brands. Yeah.
That's amazing. I want to know your creative process. When we first met, I can't even remember the exact year.
Neither can I, but we met.
But when we met, it was still when the transition videos for fashion were very popular.
Yeah.
And I think we were doing them at the same time, but you were doing them with a brand, Guinness.
Yeah.
And I asked you do you plan? Because me, I would spend hours planning how the transition is gonna go, how I'm gonna position myself. And I asked you, do you plan? And you were just like, honestly, just when the idea comes into my head, I just execute it. And I was like, that is amazing. So has that changed, or is that still your creative process?
The creative process depends. There are times I'll plan for some. There are times some will come just abruptly, depending on what execution I want. Because for me, execution is the key. Execution is everything. So if I can get ideas, ideas come all the time. The thing is, how will I execute it? Now that is where the stress comes in.
Okay.
Yeah, so even when you're saying of those transition videos back then, not at back then, but just juicy.
A couple of years ago.
Just juicy.
Yeah.
Even then you'd find you get inspiration from different people doing more or less the same things, and then you're able to make something unique.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I need to do this now because in 2 days history now tutakuisha tutoka. So that was the idea. And now when you put brands to the picture, you're like, what I know what I can do, but what can I do for them that will be of value? So now you look for the value part of it. Now what to add. Yeah, so hey, process inakuanga tofauti. It depends on the day, the setup, the mood.
Yeah.
We would be sitting here and would think of something.
Yeah.
And since there are cameras here, we'd do something.
Yeah.
And there was no process behind it. There was a setup. Yeah.
So it's just, there's no set thing. It just comes when it comes.
Yeah.
Now, since you've been in this game for some time, what are some of the highlights of your journey so far?
Even experiences are highlights, yes?
Yes.
Going from a space of admiration of different people, artists, movie stars, even CEOs in different corporates. When it moves from looking at them from afar, we're like, I like that music, I like this person's craft. To a point now you meet on a professional level and they admire your work and they want you to help them. I'm like, oh my, I won't show you that, hey, nilikuwa napenda vitu zako. No, but I do tell them, but the highlights are, I find with the creative space is if it's something you are fully committed to, those things that were far-fetched are now your reality. And now your reality now starts saying, these are normal things. And there was a time they weren't, but now it's, yani, siku hizi kuchill na watu ama kubonga na watu ama be on a business call with these people, it's your normal. Those are your now everyday people.
Yeah.
You now interact in a human level, not from a idol point of view. And that's with those interactions. Of course, other highlights are, I've always, with some of the different work, I've been privileged enough to work with many brands, both big in the country and even the small businesses.
Yeah.
And even abroad with international brands.
Yeah.
All have had an impact. Of course, with the big brands, those are your big checks, or rather the ones that put food on the table and make you elevate your craft, buy equipment. With the small brands, the beauty of working with small brands, especially during the COVID times, for me, I took it as like my CSR.
Okay.
I'd just work to help businesses get by.
Yeah.
Because we're all struggling.
True.
And if I can help in a way to make a small business get customers, I would be privileged and happy to do it. And I was able to do it for several. And I saw the impact, and it was really nice and emotional when people would send you messages of acknowledgement and tell you what you've done has really helped the business. And they've been able to pay rent, they've been able to
That's nice.
do 1 or 2, 3 things, sell merchandise, sell things.
Yeah.
And be like, can we get you something? Can we send you products? Can we send you our stuff? I'm like, I was not doing it for favors. I was doing it in
Like
the
from
way
the
to
bottom
just
of my heart.
yeah.
Willingly.
Yes. Yeah, so even those ones are big highlights for me.
Yeah.
To be able to just share and create stuff with people regardless of the bag. Yeah.
That's so nice. I've never thought about that aspect of small businesses and CSR, because it is true. Even in recent times of the Maandamano, a lot of businesses in town were really affected, and people are trying to pull together to try and support them. Some were burnt down, some were looted from.
Correct.
And it's good. I feel like if you can and you're willing to help, you should always go ahead and
the
try.
fact that I take my work as a business, and for that, even the big businesses have CSR projects.
True.
Yes, in as much as they make the millions of money,
From it,
and they are doing CSR for tax evasion, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a structure that is there. So as a business, if you want to also progress or do things, there are things, 1 or 2 things that you'll also do from the business world, because also these things are collected from all the places I've worked, and those are able to see, okay, this is done this way, this is done this way. Even as an individual, when I am one, I'd like to continue with that, because the day I stop seeing it as a business, the day it starts changing, and you never know, it might fall, it might not. So that's a risky part.
Now, I want to ask you about your challenges. But before I ask you, I'm going to give context to our audience. Before, you said that you don't have, or rather, you don't really look at challenges as challenges. You always see the positive side of the challenge.
Yes.
Which I think is something that not very many people do. And I want you to, if you do have a challenge that you can think of now, you can share. If you don't, I'd like you to tell our audience what you were telling me about, looking at how you can spend a large portion of time having a good time, and then one incident
ruins everything,
and how you
dwell into that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, over the years, the challenges have been different for one. When you're starting off, at least one thing I've seen even now, as of now, even when I'm experiencing it and other people are, payment is still a big challenge.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that really frustrates people. And no one wants to beg for their money. And it's unfortunate that, so to say, the agencies still see it as a joke.
Yes.
Wait for 30 days, 45 days. Yet, mbona wewe asingoje mshahara yake 30 days or 45? I was due, the client has not paid. These are, like, I do feel like this cannot be the same story year in, year out.
True.
You need to find a way to remedy the situation. And for starters, if 10 years ago you're still telling people to wait for X amount of days, you can't be doing that now.
Yeah, it has to evolve.
Yeah, by now you need to find a way to make people receive their money at X amount, because people are telling you to wait for money and not waiting for money. And it's also, when you go to ask for money, sijui nani ameenda leave, sijui ako kama amepata mimba. I'm like,
what does that have to do with me?
I have nothing to do with that one. Two, I've worked in these spaces. There are handovers.
Yes, definitely.
So please stop lying to us. There's someone who's handling that. Do signature nani? For facts, we have your signatures.
For real. Like, we have evolved.
Yeah, there are so many things that you can...
Yeah.
If
you don't have to give me a check. You can send me RTGS, PesaLink, M-Pesa.
There are so many ways.
So many ways.
So I find it unfortunate that, one, that is still an issue now. And it's an incident in the entire entertainment scene. You see people complain from different fronts, in the movie sector, in the series sector, in music sector. And you wonder, when will it come to an end? Because people enter this thing, or rather people who have put a lot of effort to it and money. So if there is no a return on investment, it would be hard for you. Discourage people from, many people, I'm sure. I know many people have been discouraged, especially because of the money delays.
Definitely.
And it's unfortunate that talents are giving up and would rather do your job that is secure.
The 9 to 5.
Because it guarantees you that.
That's true.
Yeah, so even as a country, we're still far off from viewing art or entertainment as something that needs to be valued the same way you value other professions. They're even the biggest of creatives in whatever sector. The difference comes in if they have a cushion. The money may delay, but you have a cushion that can help you get by till your next payment comes through. And that now allows you to set another cushion for another payment. But how many of those are there? There are less.
Yes,
There are more people who are starting out or trying to get by, and when you affect them, you affect a large chunk of the industry.
That's so true.
Yeah, so that as a challenge is unfortunate that is still happening, and it pains me that to see people complaining every day. And it's, again, another sad thing that when you assign people to creatives to do work, they on emails, on text, on calls asking for money. Mpaka ile siku anaenda social media kublast. They are paid in 2 minutes.
In literally a flash.
So the money was sitting.
Yes, you just...
What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
I understand, of course, there are structures in play. I don't know you, but make them work for everyone. Because if there's no, I'm sure like agencies are not, since they don't have a cash flow for certain things, they'd rather money sits there until they get extra money to pay people or do their payments.
Yes.
Or for them to survive. But what happens to the other people? So if you can make, because you see, cash flow is king. So if I can churn out, invest money here, get money paid, pay my people, move on to the next, for as long as there's cash flow, that will stabilize a lot of things. And it's sad, again, when people have to go online is when now you find money to pay them, or when people complain. And then at first, of course, we also Kenyans, people there's that manipulation of blacklisting. There's that.
Yes.
Again, so you're why didn't you blacklist someone when you don't blacklist people for their profession? You don't blacklist them for the content they put out, but you want to blacklist them for asking for their money. Now they're a difficult person to work with.
Which is crazy because they've delivered. They've done all.
Once the
finished
delivery
their
is there,
deliverables.
it's sad that now you think of blacklisting when
because
someone
now
else
it makes you look bad.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
And then now you see it's people sitting in a boardroom or next to a computer making these assumptions that, and people don't want this pressure. No one wants to be told, oh, where's my money? Everyone throws it to the next person. There's a lot of unprofessionalism on that side that is affecting the industry. And if someone is difficult to work with, don't work with them. Don't wait until they ask for their money
payment,
and then they're difficult. If they're difficult to work with, make
don't
it
put
known
them on
from
the
the
list.
start.
Yeah. Or don't put them. Don't work with them.
Yeah, it cannot be difficult when it comes to a money issue. Let it be difficult on a brief issue. These ones don't understand the brief, or this is.
Your content does not align with our brand.
Make it a difficult scenario at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that thing about blacklisting people because of money, you see, those unfortunate incidents that affect the entire industry, it's not fair. And that challenge, for as long as it affects everyone, people who have been there for a long time and people who are starting out, it will repel people.
That's so true.
And you see, even when people express themselves on socials, people rarely express the bad side of things. So you'd never get to know someone is waiting for money for months.
You know, that's so true.
Yeah, but you'd see them doing lifestyle things and quote unquote enjoying life. or showing to, but you don't see them begging for money. And that would be, because I would believe if everyone would record themselves asking for money and post,
the things would change.
Yeah, if all of us decide on Monday we are posting ourselves, making calls to each agency that owes us, and everyone uploads, there'll be a shift.
Definitely. And I agree with you, especially with what you've said about people don't say it, and like you would never know until you know. Like you would never, if you're an outsider looking in to the creative space, you wouldn't know that payments take this long, or that we have these challenges with delayed payments and blacklisting and so on. I had a conversation with someone who is starting out as a content creator, and they got a brand deal with a brand that I was also working with. And they asked me like, oh, by the way, it's been 45 days. I'm still waiting for my payment. And I was just like, oh, yeah, that's how long it takes. And she was like, oh my goodness, you guys normally wait this long. I thought it was like you're done, you send your report, and then you get the payment. And then I realized, actually, until I was the one in her position, I also didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that is really talked about. It's like, if you know, you know. Like, that's how it is.
Yeah, like you see, even outside our field, when teachers are not paid, they strike.
True.
When doctors are not paid, they strike. Payment is a problem in very many professions. It's
That's
just
so
what do
true.
people do?
They make noise about it.
How do they make noise? Even in private institutions, when the workers are not paid, they strike. So how are people in this field supposed to strike? Not posting, complete social media blackout? Is that it?
I don't know. It's tricky because
yeah.
Even it's tricky for two reasons. One is like, if you don't post, even the algorithm can go against you. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of disappear.
Now you see, for strikes, if you are for something, it's like the man.
It has to be for a good cause.
Yeah, you can't just sit home because how will that be for me?
Yeah, it's true.
It's for a greater good, not just for you, but for everyone.
For everyone in the space. I do agree. But I also, I know a lot of people are fearful of that blacklisting. And I do feel like I had a conversation with, Miss Gashie Tracy.
Yes.
Because she works in agency, and she was saying maybe we need to start a union, because she's also on both sides of the spectrum. Like, she's a creative, but she's also in agency.
Yes.
And she understands the struggle, but she can also kind of not justify, but like, she understands why it is that the payments are delayed. But you see, it's still a problem for her. Like, so she was saying maybe we form a union.
Those are said, of course.
Things.
So there's a union. They have been said over and over. It's a good cause to start. If there's none, I saw this guy. I think Trevor. He's in. I don't know. He's the head of what now? He was appointed recently. I've forgotten the title, but it kind of looked like a union. But even with the unions, where is the unity?
Yeah.
Having a union is one thing, but having, because people will go there for their own selfish interest. You see, even not being paid is my interest.
That's true.
It's not like, if you're paid and I'm not, you'd not see the need for it.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Unless you really are passionate about it or you care.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's we hope for the best with that. Yeah, but anyway, money is still a challenge for many. And that has not changed. Other ones, I believe, with different times. Like, of course, when I was starting out, getting locations was a challenge. Now, of course, it's reduced because many people are aware, and like establishments have also entered these spaces, so they allow you to collaborate with them for spaces. It's been easier.
True.
Even hiring spaces is now, there's a good rate for creatives, right? Kitambo, you'd go and people would assume, as long as there's a camera, this is a film. And they'll give you those crazy prices for a full film rate.
Yeah.
But now for this, like a digital things, there's been a subsidized cost. Yeah, but depends with your thoughts, what you want to achieve. Because you see, if you're shooting indoors, location will not be your challenge at all.
Yeah.
I keep saying imposter syndrome is a challenge. And a big one for many creatives.
That's true.
Procrastination. is a challenge. Yeah, because people have different goals and want to achieve different things. Yeah, so I see challenges are there's money is for everyone, but you also have individual challenges. Also, rating yourself, categorizing your rate card, and it's challenging for me. The number of times over the years people are calling me, oh, I got a job, I don't know how much to charge, I don't know what to do, how to express myself when it comes to finances. Those are challenges people are faced. And I'm sure those are the ones who've been able to call me, people who have my number, people who can reach to me online. But there are many others who are in it and
they're struggling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are off my head right now.
Okay.
I don't know if there are many. I can't think of many right now, but if they come,
you'll say,
hey, pause. Nakumbuka ingine.
Please feel free. Before we move on, though, I would like you to tell the audience what you told me earlier, because I do think it's a very...
Oh, the bad.
Yes. Like, it's a very nice way of looking at life.
Okay. So, like I was telling you, I come off as a positive person, even to people around me. Like, how I see life. I look at opportunities. Again, what you give is what you get. So, even from when I was younger, growing up, I rarely dwell on the negatives, because when they'll eat me up, then I'll be bad inside, and it might affect how I interact with people. That's never been me.
Yeah.
So what happens is I take in all the positive energy, and the same energy is what I give out more often than not to anyone around me. So even with things, let's say you are experiencing an event, or even a day out or 2 days, depends, and you're having a proper nice time anywhere, and you happen to have a negative situation of whatever manner, and there are people who will dwell on that, and that will change the course of everything. It will make you want to leave, want to be sad, dwell on it, and for the next days it will be what you still ravel about. Or this happened on this day, I didn't, and this. People have different ways to interpret what things they experience. But even with that, I always feel like before that incident, or even after, there are so many good things happening. It's so sad that those good things get forgotten, and now you dwell on one bad thing, which now changes the course of your next few days out of that. And it impacts you even as a human, your mental state, how you interact with people. It can eat you up, depending on whatever, if it's of a high magnitude or it's something small. But I always, for me, even if something bad happens, it's not what I'll dwell in. I'll be like, okay, before this happened, I was having a good time.
Yeah.
And if I can still continue having a good time, even the number of times that it go out maybe wa simu.
Yeah.
Not number, like not at many kama watu wengine.
But it happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if I'm out and the few times I've been out and my phone is stolen, fanya tu hivi that, you know, that kabaridi kuingia kila mahali.
Yeah.
Kwanza the shock, then
yeah.
oh shit, then imeenda.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, okay, shotos.
Should I
See, but first of all, now I have no phone. Meaning, I have
You
nothing
have to
to care about. No, me.
uko sawa.
Sasa, kaende.
You're loose now.
Si ati sasa nitaogopa kutembea hivi ati juu nitaibiwa. Hakuna kitu ya kuibiwa. So, kwanza pale ndio mlikuwa mnaogopa kwenda juu ya simu. Wacha sasa niende. And of course, now the vibe changes, sherehe changes. Because mtu anaibiwa phone anaenda home immediately.
Yeah.
First of all, the journey home is the longest. You're there doing the calculations. Wow. Sasa, kesho nitamkaje, sina alarm.
Yeah.
Tena mwanzi nimeibiwa simu. Sasa nitatoa wapi? Natafuta hivyo.
Yeah.
Hizo shida zitakame.
Yeah.
Sasa, I at no point should I bring forward the problems. Let me first enjoy the moment.
Yourself.
The problems will still be there. They are not changing. It's for me to decide at what point do I need them back in my life. Yeah, just different ways to approach different things.
Yeah.
So like naturally I just don't like dwelling on negatives.
Yeah.
Of whatever manner. They are there, we face them a lot, but it's not the space I always want to be in, because I also don't want to be a negative person. So I'll just look into. There was fun in it.
Yeah.
And that was good. Let me stick to the fun side of it. And the negative, we'll know how we can navigate it and come out stronger. And also use it as a learning lesson. Learning curve, not more of regrets. Regrets are there, but I don't want to be always mbona, like, next time, even ndio nitafanya to avoid this situation.
I think it's a really wonderful way of thinking, honestly. Like I will start. I'm a person who now dwells on the negative.
Yeah, even with different friends, I always tell them, because even through interactions, when you're talking with people, like I not that I don't like, there are people who always have bad news 24/7. Ukona yani kila mtu amekosea in life. At workplace, you are the aggrieved party. In your family, you are the aggrieved party. With friends, you are the aggrieved party. Okay, at what point are you the person who's also aggrieved, or rather causing harm to other people?
Yes.
Because
clearly you can't always be the one who's seeking sympathy.
That sympathy card, it can only go on for so you
long.
Can't use it it can't be your entire life where you met at work, you're always ranting about your colleagues. You're always ranting about your siblings, your family members. So what you might as well be ranting about me to other people. The same people. To your siblings, I'm the bad person.
Yeah.
And to me, your siblings are bad people.
Yeah.
So you see, if that is how you operate, it will have a negative impact in even how you view things, because you always enter spaces looking for a way out. Looking for, I don't belong here. I don't want to be here, maybe because people will do bad things to me, or people will make me feel, because that's your comfort zone, apparently, because that's where you feel like I'm at my best self if I'm ranting about everyone else, other than looking at it a different way. Yeah, because I just find it not a good way to live. And even with other friends, minus those who rant, like those ones who are always just finding the sad parts of things. Even with some, I've talked to many over years to like also see the good in life. It's not guaranteed that every day will be good. And not guaranteed that, we are not trust fund children that my life will be like a roller coaster or that of a rock star.
Yeah, good times only.
Yeah, we don't live on a good times vibe 24/7.
Yeah.
But if we can live on a good times and know how to manage the bad ones to not sink us deeper, we'll be able to live well. And with different friends, I tell them also see the good. In as much as it's bad, what are the positives in your day? Yes, I had a bad day, but is it from morning till evening, or in between there were also good times?
Yeah.
And if you had good times, share those as well. Also, and as much as you talk about the bad times, also express the good ones. If you had something good that happened during the day and bad, just don't make the bad take over. Make it a balance.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, you mentioned earlier that you take your work as a creative as a business. You treat it as a business.
Yes.
And I want to know how you deal with both sides. Like when does the business side have its, moment? When does the creative side have its moment, especially when it comes to brand deals? Because I think that's something people really struggle with when they're starting out, is seeing that, okay, this brand has approached you and now you're creating content for the brand, but now you've turned yourself into a business, basically. You're doing it for money. It's no longer just for fun. So how do you handle the two? How do you balance the two?
You said you do it for money, not for fun.
Like, it's not just for fun anymore. Like, now there's the added layer of
money
you're
involved.
being given money, yes. Like, you can still create for fun, obviously. It should be
but
fun.
You can also make the paid work fun.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But now that, how to be professional, I think, is what I mean.
I get, for how I approach it over years, of course, at first I'd be like, there's this, then there's the business angle to it, which is not touching on the creative side of it. And there's another, like, you want to separate all of them and work as an individual who, when I'm doing the business side, I'm just business oriented. And when I'm being a creative, I'm just a creative. But as you grow into this, you find like they'll need each other. Your creative side will need a business angle to it, to look at how to gain business, how to grow businesses, or how to become one as a creative. And your business side will need creative ways to expand. So you also need, it's like now feeding into each other. And that's how I found works for me. Whatever I'm doing, I always put different aspects. If you're looking at it, this is a business angle for it. Is there a creative way to improve the business side of it? This is the creative side of it. What business can this creativity channel out? Yeah, so it's that each one grows, and now you become one, and I find that's how it best survives, to say the least.
And how did you manage to build your brand when it comes to personal branding, when it comes to your rate card? I know that has evolved over the years.
Correct.
What does that evolution look like?
The evolution, of course, has not been easy. Yeah, for one, personal branding is what you want the market to see.
Yes.
So if you want the market, there's this thing my dad told me, one of this, when tu wazae tuanza tu kuongea mnasema hiyo ni point hiyo ni point. Hiyo nitatumia mahali nimepata leo. Yeah, so he once said there's a value we assign ourselves, but there's also a value the society assigns us. So the equilibrium is in the two.
Yeah.
Whichever value you assign yourself and that the society assigns you, the balance is who you need to expose. So if you walk outside just thinking I'm the biggest superstar on this earth, but society sees you just like any other guy, there's a big difference. So that balance has to find a way to be. But if your value and the society value align, everyone benefits.
True.
But also, if the society assigns you a higher value than you have assigned yourself, how do you see? Do you want to maintain there, or do you want to go to the higher value where the society assigns you? And now you see, if you're in business, I'd rather go for the higher value the society assigns me.
Sure.
That will benefit me in business. But as a creative, the expectations of the higher brand are more. So do I need to pull it down? Now you see how mixing the two makes you find a balance. Yeah, so that's how you look at it, or how I look at it. Yeah, so even with that, now gauging the two, you see, even many people, even when creating red cards or talking, I know my value.
Yeah.
That's a you value. That's where you what it takes for you to say those words. And how does it look like from the society side of it? And society means your friends, businesses, your partners, all those people. Do they value in the same way you value yourself? And if not, if it's higher, well and good. If it's lower, how do you manage it to be at a space where the society also values you in the same way you value yourself? So if I say I know my value, I need to put value in me. I don't need people to put value in me, because I'm the one saying the words I know my value. I don't need to say I know my value and sit back at home not showing any value. I need to say I know my value when I've put enough value in myself for other people to see it. Okay. So when other people see it, they also know my value. And that helps even in red cards, even in assigning, being able to put yourself in certain spaces. So if I say my value for this project is this amount, if the brands come in and say that's too high, of course they don't see you in that space.
Yeah.
Because now they don't see the value which you're talking about.
Yeah.
But if you're able to say that's my value, and they'll be like, okay, can we negotiate? Maybe just a little bit lower, or what?
Yes.
You see, now you're still communicating on you're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So it's for you to decide on a negotiation. Now that's where negotiation skills come into play. And you're able to like, okay, do this for this value, but I don't want this money. If you can reach this amount, I'll work with that. And at the end of the day, it's always what value do you put in yourself that will also help you do everything else. If personal branding. Now that's is what involves personal branding. If you can put value in yourself, and value involves many things: your looks, your outfit, you see, the same way makeup, same way when people say, I've seen these discussions online on X, and they are global. Even they happen here, and I see them even with people, Americans, Europeans. Case in point, let's say a lady goes online and complains she can't show up for a coffee date because they say coffee dates are cheap. That's how they view them. But they're not cheap in the aspect of the value of the coffee. Anyone can afford coffee if they want to. But in the aspect that before I get to the coffee table with whoever is inviting me, I have to do my hair, I have to do my makeup, I have to get an outfit, I have to do. So they're already looking at how much am I putting in myself to get there for a 200 shilling coffee. That's why they say no. And they'd say that. But again, it depends if they like you or not. But now you see, it's not even about the liking aspect. It's like, I don't need to like a brand to work with it. Or rather, you see, it's the value that you need to put in yourself. So if you can look at that when it comes to sentimental things like dates, relationships, and all these things, you see the values, look into it. It's the same one you need to put into branding yourself for business. And by that, you have your own self, and then you have your output, or you have your equipments. What value do you put in your equipments? How much do you put in your work? So even by the time you're able to give out a rate, it matches up to what you're saying. Yeah.
And when it comes to these brand deals, do you pitch? Are you approached? I bet there are some that you're approached. So do you also pitch to brands when you have like an idea?
I've been privileged enough to be approached more.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, the value you put.
Yeah, it's very important.
I always tell people, if you put value in your craft, the aim is to make your craft attractive, not the other way around. If you're able to make a craft attractive to a way that people will want to, I want that too. I want that. It's like anyone attractive will get many people approaching them. And if you're able to put that into craft, make it valuable enough or attractive enough for people to want to be part of that. This is the society. That's how it works. If someone is the in thing right now, everyone will want to be part of it as now that they're the hot cake.
True.
Before now, and now it will be in everyone's head. This is the go-to person. This is a go-to person. So it's how do you make yourself that type of person? Not necessarily the hot cake, but how do you make yourself valuable in a way that there'll be attraction at all times. Yeah. So yes, most times I've been privileged enough to get more brands calling in, working, but I've also pitched for myself and for many other people, other creatives. Yeah. And I say the pitching is also the skills I learned while in agency that I was able to put together and also use them for me as the brand. Yeah, so it's been a blend of both, more so the ones that come in more than the ones that I pitch. But yes, I also do pitch, not every day. Because even when I really want to work with a brand, in no time I get to.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that you've really emphasized the importance of value.
Yeah, that's one thing I can put out there confidently because I've seen it work for me and for other people.
Yeah.
Over time, over the years.
Okay. And does that also then play into when you know when to accept and walk away from deals?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
The same way I've had the privilege of getting brands. I've said no more than I've said yes.
Okay.
Because if I said yes to everything, I don't know what I'd do. Because saying no is powerful. Because it also makes you see what you can do and what you can't, and it also gives you a sense of it's no, you're not looking at money as the must. It's like my values. Even as late as yesterday, I was called by a brand and they had good money, and I just said no.
Mm.
And they were like, why? No, you're like, sina pedo.
You know.
So why? I'm
Yeah.
like, I just, it doesn't align with where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it's just my personal decision.
Mm.
Yeah, so as long as we don't align, be it on values, be it on the whatever product is, because one thing for sure, I like working with products I can vouch for.
Yeah.
Whether I'm working for it or I'm not. Because we get these questions even outside, or complaints. Yet I'm not the salesman, or I'm not the head, someone in that company.
True.
But I'm able to understand also these products and these brands. And I like working with things even beyond the campaign. Is something I'll keep using.
True.
And I can vouch for, and there's that relation from what I see online, even offline, still the same thing. Believability, I'd say. So I like working and doing things that I can vouch for, whether I'm doing it online or offline, because people do call, people do text, share messages to want. And I don't want to say it's good because I'm being paid.
True.
I want to say it's good because I've experienced the good. And if it's bad, I'd rather tell you, don't try it. But that will not be valid to the client.
Yeah.
So I also want to tell the clients this doesn't work. Because even when I get new products, I'd say, give me 1 month.
Yeah.
Or some time for me to first experience this product before I'm able to do anything about it. So that even when I create content, I like creating content that's organic to me. So even, if it's not organic or not authentic to me, it won't be to you. Yeah, so it's something more passionate and, let me say, from the bottom of my heart, to say the least.
Okay. And what do you think sets a good creative apart from a great one?
Like any other career, the X factor. Everyone has a different X factor.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you have to find your own.
Yeah, I can't tell someone to do it like me.
True.
Or someone to do it like you. It's what is in it, what about them makes them glow, and what about them makes people get attracted to them.
Yeah.
So if that's the thing you want, and if it's I always tell people also, you need to be comfortable to share it. Because if your X factor you don't want to share it, then that's a different story. Because you also have to be comfortable in doing things on your own. Because if you're not comfortable, how long will you do it? You'll not be comfortable. You'll try it out and then you'll either quit. Because even people who have taken money, or who've been approached by doing certain things, change over time, because they're like, shit, I was only doing it for 1 month. We are 6 months in, nimechoka, I don't want to do it again, because it's not them. Yeah, so I always say, what makes people stand out is the X factor, and how you can put it out to yourself. It might not be very big, but if it's what makes people engage with you, you stick to it, right? Also consistency.
Yes.
Consistency is very key. It's tiring as hell. Sometimes you don't want to do things, you want to chill, relax. And you want to relax for a month.
Yeah.
But do you have the luxury to relax for a month?
That's true. Do you?
Yeah, so maybe you do, but also it's not about, you can relax for a month and survive, or 2 and still survive.
Yeah.
But it's those small ones that make you now fade away.
Yeah.
So people always have to keep pull themselves up, start over, or do things again. Yeah, so I feel like those are very key elements for you to stand out, or to be able to do things in a unique way. Yeah, consistency, of course, is for you to show your X factor many other times. And keep knocking on those, because people always think that, and this is even when I'm doing consultancy for brands or people or what, people believe that there are 2 types of people. There are people who are aggressive, and there are people who don't want to be on people's faces a lot.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be on people, but you want your brand to keep selling or do things. So I always tell people, there's a reason we've watched ads. An ad will be on your TV for every minute, or 5 times a day. Because just because you've seen it 5 times does not mean everyone else has seen it 5 times.
That's true.
For every time something is seen, there's someone seeing it or you for the first time. Every day you showcase something, you always attract someone new.
Yeah.
And you don't need to attract 1,000 people at once. You can attract 2, 3, 4. And that's what builds communities. Because now you're able to live through with people day in, day out, and they're able to see you grow, do different things, and the more you share and the more you get engagement, the more people get attracted to you, and people now want to see, okay, why do people follow this one? Why do people like this content? Some might not like it for the first time or the second, but the consistency in it makes people see it. Even the same way songs. The biggest hits are not played once a day. Something is not on Billboard 100 because it was just played by 2 individuals or listened to by the same person over. It's the repetition of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how you handle criticism and feedback on your work?
Yeah, of course, there's always criticism. Not everyone is out here to praise you.
True.
Yeah. Again, for every good, there's a fair share of the bad side of it. For that one, I think I would like to learn the criticism, and if it's constructive criticism, I'd take it and build something out of it. So, for example, I remember, during the height of COVID, especially these times they were like Twitter Spaces every day because people are at home. So there's a space for this, there's a space for this.
That was the best way to connect.
Yeah. So there was a space on the creative space, influencing generally. And at that time I was a panelist. You have to remember, just be a host, part of the host, so that you share your journey in the industry and whatnot. So while on that space, I remember someone tuned in. There were many people saying, "Now you do a great job. We like which were great, and those are confidence boosters."
Definitely.
Then someone came on and said, "I like your work, but now that time I was only pushing one brand. The one I actually just decided, let me use this brand to showcase everything I can do, be it pictures, be it videos, anything, concepts I have." Because I don't want to wait for 5 brands for me to show what I can do.
Sure.
Let me do it with this one and give it my all. Because I like giving 100% in everything, be it the small or the big. I don't want to give it half and half. So I was working with this brand Guinness. And at that time, someone came on and said, "I like what you do. You do tremendous work. And I'd like its influence. I've seen its impact so far. But the challenge is I don't see you as, if I see Guinness, I see you.
Okay.
But I don't see you beyond Guinness. I wouldn't expect you to push Toyota."
Okay.
For me, that's what sits with me. When I see you, only say Guinness. And I was like, to be honest, you're right.
Yeah.
It's not even criticism per se, but you can only see what I share. It's not like I that's what I've shared and that's what you've consumed. So by every right, you're correct. By all means, you are correct in what you've said. So my take home for that was like, I need to show, because that time ilikuwa the brand is, you're attached to the brand. So like what I need to work on is not attaching to a brand, is I need brands to be attached to me, one, and I need to work beyond this brand to show these things I can do with other brands that will also make now change from Kimanzi or Guinness to Kimanzi the creator.
True.
And now at that time, a few weeks by, I got to do another brand, again off the work that I'm doing with Guinness. And with that, I got to do different like within that time I had that, and a 3 months difference, I'd done like several other brands. And now I'd walk into a space.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like I'd went to a club and the first person I interact with knows me for brand X. A table beside there knows me for another brand. A table beside me knows me for another brand. What I've done. And then at the end, you're like, yeah, you're a creative for, and that's now what I'd seen, and like, let me use that.
So the feedback was positive.
Yes.
Like it helped you realize something that you didn't even notice.
Yeah. And now is that how I was able now to work on it to a point that showcase I am a creative not for one brand, but I can be a creative for different things depending on what it is. Yeah, because even when I say to myself, even when I was working in agency, I used to handle many accounts, different. You know, a airline here, a telecom here, very diverse brands, and you're able to still channel out different communication for each brand. And now you see, I carry that with me, like I can handle what I can, and be it whatever brand it is, I'll be able to execute. Yeah, and now I started looking forward to doing brands I knew nothing about. The challenge was not that I knew nothing about brands I'd never imagined working with.
Yeah.
Not from that is where the challenge was. I was like, the more challenging a job, the better it is for me, because it will help me research a lot, help me think of execution ideas, help me write scripts over and over.
Basically, you're pushing yourself.
Yeah, and to date, I still enjoy brands that I would never have imagined it. And when I get it on my desk, I'm like, yes. I'm not saying yes because I know what I'll do. I'm saying yes because I need to challenge myself to do more.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and even out of that, something I always say, let your last work be your pitch for your next work. Because someone won't scroll down on your page from last year to find what you did last year. Human beings are lazy, and especially the digital space, there's so much to consume. People will see you doing something, or rather see your work, press on it, and maybe just look at the last job you did. So if the last job is bogus, people will assume in kibahati. Yeah, but if you give people a reason to come to your page, pia ni kali. By the time the reason you'd find yourself scrolling a page up, unajipata 2 a.m. na ulianza kuscroll 12, it's maybe the interest it's captivated you. And if you're able to captivate people differently, you're able to show proof of work. That's proof of concept. Yeah, and that's now what you get to build over time. So making the last work always be if you're able to use your last work to get your next, it will always help you and save you.
And now, can you tell me something that you love about the Kenyan creative industry?
I love this space we are in. The Kenyan creative space, I was discussing with an agency person a few days ago. Over the years, what has happened, and they were saying we do a lot. Kenyan creatives are way beyond what other creatives in different parts of the world are doing. Now we are doing things over and above. We are creating movies. We are creating crazy concepts that we are so far ahead. Even spaces where people, like South Africa has a good space. And those people, I don't know if they complain about money, but we see them live well. So we don't know if it's a lifestyle thing or whatnot, but it's been said that the payment there is good one, and people can live off that. But the work is just your normal. It's not like people do bad things, just that we've done so many extra things that even the things that should stand out are not standing out. So like that, they were telling me, like, now they also handle other countries, and when they get work from them, they're like, hey, Sasa, I don't know how to tell these people do like this. Because now again, you also can't. It's their work.
Creative freedom.
So they get the Kenya. Because I've also had people tell me Kenyans who work in agencies who tell me they've used my videos to show people in other countries. So I'm like, oh, that's nice. But with the space we're in and what people are doing, everyone is putting in the work, and we can able to see it in the content, and it's so we're in a beautiful space, and I hope the money and the space align so that people can be doing even better work. Yeah, because now people are able to do dope concepts. I look at work and I'm like, wow, yeah, this is awesome. Because you see, it's been able to create a big economy where you have videographers now have constant jobs. You don't have to wait only for the big jobs. You'll also have these jobs that are your day-to-day. Photographers, stylists,
makeup artists.
You see how many people it ends up elevating.
True.
Only just by the things now people are doing.
Yeah,
For one creative to get on set and on a scene, they have pulled in like 5 other creatives.
true.
And they're able now to elevate everyone. And that helps and builds our economy. It's not seen in hindsight by, like, of course, the government, and because they keep still frustrating us. But we're able now to see growth.
Yeah.
And I believe, like right now, I see 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds doing amazing things, and I'm like,
it's true.
This is perfect. Like, if you're doing this at 20, 21, what will you be doing at 10 years from now?
True.
Yeah, so we've grown to that space where even people can... I've been told by parents, your kids want to start content creation.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is a nice feedback, because it shows it's become a valuable part of society. Same way when you're growing, you want to be your doctors, lawyers, engineers, because they were valuable to society. Means even content creation is starting to become something that people see as a means of livelihood.
True.
And when I see, I've been called by parents, can you mentor my son? He's 13 years old.
That's lovely.
My daughter is 14, she wants this. And I do them. And you're able to see, people will be like, I'll pay you anything. You're like, wow. And it's gotten to this level where teenagers will press their parents to want it, and the parents will reach out and tell you, you must come and see it. And now you see how the growth has been to a point now. I'd never imagined starting this thing. I'd be in a point where I'm actually interacting with teenagers about it, to a point they actually want to be part of it. And not only teenagers, even old people. How many old people do you see now creating content online?
Yeah, it's true.
And for them, I believe these are people who had this urge to do things but didn't have the avenues.
True.
And now that they have come through, they're like, you'd find old mzes, old shoes, aunties, and they're having a ball. And
they are.
It's so sweet to see all these things coming in and together. And all those make the scene very beautiful to be in, and from all angles. Now it's okay for watchmen to dance online and not be fired. It's okay for the military to show things online, dance, and be okay. And it's okay for CEOs to be online and do fun activities online, or show humor, show that they have families. These were things that wouldn't have happened if we all didn't put in the work in this space.
That's true.
It's become accommodating to everyone, and also we are able to see things grow. So it's such a beautiful space we are in, and I hope it keeps growing like this. Despite the frustrations, we see Kenyans we know how to persevere, but we don't want to persevere.
We don't want to persevere all
the
time.
We want a smooth ride. We want to
just
enjoy
peace.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a nice space we're in, and for sure it's growing further and further.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I want to sit back and see, wow, this space is not even what we would ever imagine it to be. Yeah.
So as we wrap up, can you please share a parting shot with our audience?
Well, from everything I've said, I bet the biggest takeouts from this conversation, I'd one say the value part. That means invest in yourself as a creative, and find ways to add value to your brand at whatever times. Yeah, so of course, that's in a nutshell, just invest in your craft. Not just in yourself, in your craft. And investment necessarily isn't just money. Time is an investment. getting to know better things, learning about your craft, reading, anything that you do to make your craft better, do it. Invest in all ways possible. If there's no money now, there might be time. Put the time into it. And if you don't have those, read or watch. There are many things online, YouTube, TikTok, IG, X, all these platforms, Facebook. You can always learn a thing or two. And put in the hours.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kimanzi. We've really enjoyed the conversation.
Me too.
Please let us know where we can find you once again on social media.
My handle is Kimanzi _ on IG, and on X. TikTok is Kim Kimanzi.
Okay. We will link everything in the description box below as well. That was Kimanzi here exclusively on the Cre8 Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Cre8 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an update. Like, share, and comment whose story you'd like to hear next. And in the meantime, you can vibe with us on all our social media platforms at the Cre8 Pod. Remember to stay creative, and I'll catch you in the next one.